Hello, my name is Brittany Speart, and I'm here with Larte Wellness to discuss an issue or a very prominent event that occurs for most people throughout their lifetime, and that would be the grieving process. So, the grieving process can occur when someone has gone through the loss of a loved one, or even maybe a move or has experienced some sort of change or loss in their life. This can also occur after the ending of a romantic relationship. Regardless, the grieving process includes the emotions, needs, and behaviors that occur after the event as a result to the loss. Um, and this can be viewed as a cycle. And that can include the different feelings that one may feel throughout the grieving cycle. The grieving process is different for everybody. People feel different emotions at different times. People go through the different stages of the grief process at different times. And people require different needs. So some people like to rely on other people for support, while others would maybe prefer to be alone during this process. Um, but everybody's different, and everybody's different in how they experience the grieving process itself. And the grieving process can be viewed as a cycle, which we'll take a look at. So in the grieving process, sometimes you'll see it as a wave, as you will in this instance. In other cases, you will see the grieving cycle in a circle, in an ever revolving circle, which is the visual I prefer. However, in most of the grief cycles, they do hit on the various emotions that may be felt or the different stages that can occur in the grieving process. One of these one of these emotions or stages that may be experienced throughout the cycle would be the phase of denial. This can also be referred to as shock. The person may want to avoid talking about the situation, may be very confused. And then following that, there can be anger, frustration, a little more irritability than the person may typically be used to. Um, and then following that, there may also be bargaining. This is when the person may be struggling to find meaning, may even be making making a deal to trade their life for another, or trying to make the situation work. This can also be when the individual is trying to reach out to others and get their point across. Another very prominent stage that may occur in the grieving process would be depression. So this can be overwhelm, this can be helplessness, this can be sleeping too much or not enough, impacting eating and impacting other areas of life because of this hopelessness, this sadness um, that may be experienced as a result of the grief. And then there's acceptance, which is the place where the individual may be exploring other options, other coping mechanisms, maybe trying to find meaning, and maybe actually implementing techniques to implement that meaning. Now, throughout the process, this process is not linear, which is why I prefer the circular model. However, what that means is that each person will experience each of these stages at a different time, but that may mean that the individual may not experience all of these stages in the process, or they may experience another, and then go back to the previous stage. This is a constantly evolving cycle that is very different for everybody, and it is very important for the provider and the individual to try to give grace, support, and patience through this process. This process is very different for everybody, and there's no time limit on the grieving process. So there's no time limit in what may be needed to overcome this experience in your life. So, and also in each stage would come with different needs. So in the denial or anger, even the bargaining phase, it may be helpful to inform or communicate with the person to help try to figure out what they're feeling, to process where they are, as well as gain information about where they are. And it would also be helpful for emotional support through all of these stages to really be there for the person, offer an ear, or even just a safe space for them to just be. Whatever they feel, whatever you feel you need during this time, it's important to find those who will support you in the way that you need to be supported. And guidance and support can also be helpful in finding new meaning and exploring coping skills, and that can also occur through any of the stages. So another way to look at the grieving cycle and all of these, another point to consider is that all of these feelings can be felt at the same time in the same day. Multiple can be felt at the same time. It really depends on the person. This really does look very different for everybody. Another way to consider grief would be to consider the different tasks that may be associated with the grief. And that would be that would be to consider how to move forward after the event to regain comfort, stability, and a sense of purpose in one's life. And the first step would be to accept the reality of the loss. So really to sit with that loss and see what the reality, how that really impacts you, both you and your surroundings. How does that impact the environment around you? And then once you've accepted that reality, this new reality that you're finding yourself in, it can be helpful to plan the next and following steps. And then the next step would be to experience the pain of that loss. So really processing those emotions and relying on your emotional support to get what you need through that time. And that can be family, that can be friends, that can be an emotional support um, specialist like a therapist, psychiatrist, psychologist. So really just finding the answers that and support that you need to help you both process what you're feeling, unpack what you're feeling, and figure out how to heal emotionally. The next step would be adjusting to a new life without either the person, the place. So really finding a new routine for yourself, and whatever a routine looks like for you, as well as finding new coping skills that may be helpful and really adding to your environment to support you and the in what you need in this time and moving forward. Another task that could be helpful in adjusting would be to find meaning for your life after losing this lifestyle or losing this person or losing this place. What gives meaning to your life now? And really focusing on trying to utilize your strengths and that new sense of purpose to adjust and create a new life for yourself that feels a little more comfortable. And then really reinvesting in that new reality. So taking the steps needed to meet any goals that may come out of the self-exploration of adjusting and the new sense of purpose. Making steps to continue with self-care for yourself, making strides to find additional support that you may need. Whatever you need to help meet your goals and make this new reality as comfortable for yourself as possible. And each of these stages, again, aren't exactly linear. Um, so the person who is experiencing the grief may find themselves trying to achieve each step and then finding either that they need to achieve it again or that they fall back a step. And that's again okay. Unfortunately, this cycle does look different for everybody. So everybody does come to different terms at different times in their life and are able to achieve each stage at a different pace. So this is a really customized experience that requires time, patience, and commitment to yourself. So what else can you do during the grieving process to help you through? So we did touch on a little bit on finding your support systems and really leaning on those support systems to help meet your needs, as well as decide for yourself what your needs currently are. Um, what do you need to continue through this process, to find new purpose, to make goals? Um, is it time or do you need support? So really taking the time to explore yourself and your needs. Even journaling can be helpful. Some people find meditation helpful. Really finding what you enjoy. What tasks do you enjoy? What activities do you enjoy? What brings light to your life? And making sure to schedule that in your day, as well as meeting your physical needs. This is something through the grieving process that can be very difficult, is just meeting basic human needs, whether that be hygiene, sleeping, eating. But it's important to keep reviving yourself so that you can keep fighting to meet your goals. Additional ways would be to build a memorial of the person and put either visuals in a box or create a photo album, whatever way you can find that you feel connects with you about how to positively remember your experiences with this person. That can be very helpful. Um, as well as finding new meaning or eventually getting back to participating in activities you did find comfort in, whenever that feels less triggering. So grief, again, looks very different for everybody. Everybody requires a different level of support, and everybody moves through the grief cycle in a different rate. So it's very important to, again, be patient with yourself, be kind to yourself, and do the best to do some soul searching to figure out what you need during this time, and then taking the steps to get that help. It is any emotions that arise are okay, and you're not alone. You can find help in this. Here at L'Arte Wellness, we do offer counseling services. And we do have plenty of eager therapists waiting for your call if this is something you are going through. Um, so please give us a call, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for your time.